the snow. Over the snow I glide, into woods frosted fresh and white. Over the snow, a flash of fur. A red squirrel disappears down a crack. Where did he go? Under the snow, Dad says. Under the snow is a whole secret kingdom where the smallest forest animals stay safe and warm. You're skiing over them now. Over the snow I glide, past beech trees rattling leftover leaves and strong, silent pines that stretch to the sky. On a high branch, a great horned owl keeps watch. Under the snow, a tiny shrew dodges columns of ice. It follows a cool tunnel along the moss, out of sight. Look, Dad says. Tracks. Tracks always tell a story. Over the snow, a deer has crossed our path. Deep hoof prints punch through the crust, up the hill, under a tree. An oval of melted snow tells the story of a good night's sleep. Under the snow, deer mice doze. They huddle up, cuddle up against the cold in a nest of feathers and fur. Over the snow I climb, digging in my edges so I don't slide back down. Under the snow, voles scratch through slippery tunnels, searching for morsels from summer feasts. Over the snow, I swoosh. Down, down, faster, faster, down, faster, faster. Whoa, whoa, whoops! Under the snow, a snowshoe hare watches from a shelter of spruce. Almost invisible, she smooths her fur, a coat of winter white. Over the snow, I glide, past reeds where tadpoles play tag in springtime. Under the snow, fat bullfrogs snooze. They dream of sun-warmed days, back when they had tails. Over the snow, I stand and stare. Little mountains in the marsh. Under the snow, beavers gnaw on aspen bark, settled in for supper. Can they hear my tummy rumbling too? Over the snow, stop, a sound. We stand like statues carved in ice, till a bushy-tailed fox steps from a thicket, tips his ear to the ground, listens, listens, listens still, and leaps out onto the snow after an invisible dinner. His paws scratch away to find the mouse he heard scritch, scritch, scratching along underneath, under the snow. Over the snow, I glide. A full moon lights my path to supper. Under the snow, a chipmunk wakes for a meal. Bedroom, kitchen, hallway. His house under my feet. Over the snow, I climb one last hill. Bonfire smoke rises. Warm hands, hot cocoa, hot dogs sizzling on pointed sticks. Under the snow, a black bear snores, still full of October blueberries and trout. Over the snow, the fire crackles and sparks shoot up to the stars. I lick sticky marshmallow from my lips and lean back with heavy eyes. Shadows dance in the flames. Under the snow, a queen bumblebee drowses away December, all alone. She'll rule a new colony in spring. Over the snow, I glide home on tired legs. Clouds whisper down, feathery soft flakes. Under the covers, I snuggle deep and drift into dreams of cuddling deer mice and slumbering frogs, hungry beavers and tunneling voles, drowsy bears and busy squirrels, and the secret kingdom under the snow.
E.T.A. Hoffmann's The Nutcracker, an enchanting pop-up adaptation. Everything about Christmas Eve was good. The sights, the sounds, the smells. It was a wonderland of delight, and it all lay just beyond the keyhole Marie and Fritz took turns peeping through. The smells of spruce tree and puff pastry drifted past the threshold. The sounds of the orchestra sneaked through the hinges. Glimpses of swirling silk gowns and shiny brass buttons and tables covered with gifts and treats made the children bounce on their toes. And behind everything, there was the great, towering tree, festooned with ribbons and baubles and apples and 300 shimmering candles. Just when the children thought they couldn't stand to wait another moment, the doors swung open. Fritz darted into the ballroom, heading straight for a table piled with gifts. Marie hesitated, savouring the music and the glorious sight of the party, then joined her brother. Their godfather, Judge Drosselmeyer, towered over his gifts, including a clockwork castle with tiny moving figures and an army of horses and soldiers, which Fritz grabbed up and set into battle formations. Again, Marie hesitated, eyes searching the table. Godfather Drosselmeyer smiled at her mysteriously, then reached inside his cloak and drew out a curious wooden doll. The doll was smartly dressed, with buttons and trim much like that found on the jackets of the men dancing around them. He had a domed cap and glossy boots, and his hair curved round his face, which held a curious expression, a wide-eyed, pleading grin that Marie felt immediate sympathy for. Judge Drosselmeyer reached into his cloak again, and this time pulled out a walnut. He placed the nut in the doll's teeth, then pulled a lever at its back, and crack! The walnut split into 2 perfect halves. Marie was entranced. She reached for the Nutcracker and hugged it to her heart. Fritz soon caught sight of the Nutcracker and insisted on a turn with him. He ran for the treats table and dug out the largest nut in the dish, a giant black nut with a shell like stone. He wrenched the Nutcracker open, shoved the nut in and slammed the wooden jaw shut. Crack! But this time, it wasn't the sound of the nut cracking open. This time, it was the sound of splintered wood. The Nutcracker's jaw had broken. Marie flew to the toy, scooped him out of Fritz's hands, and tucked herself into a quiet corner behind the boughs of the Christmas tree. She pulled a ribbon from one of the gifts and tenderly bandaged the Nutcracker's broken jaw. She rocked him in her arms and sang bits of nursery rhymes and lullabies, until eventually she herself fell asleep under the tree. Marie's dreams were stormy and strange. She saw 2 queens, one human and the other a mouse, arguing bitterly. She saw a beautiful baby turned into a goggle-headed creature. She saw a young man turn a grown-up goggle-headed creature into a lovely lady, and saw that same young man, so like her Nutcracker, bowing before the lovely lady, then stumbling as he stepped back. And then the young man was her Nutcracker. The fine lady's face turned stony with disgust, and she shooed him away from her. Marie woke to the sound of the clock chiming midnight and a chorus of curious tiny squeaking sounds. The party had ended. All the guests were gone. Instead, the room was filled with a motley collection of toys and mice, all in fighting formation. Fritz's soldiers had mounted their horses and fallen into ranks. The Nutcracker, her Nutcracker, was positioned at the front of the toy battalion. Together, they faced an enormous army of skittering, squeaking mice, with a fearsome 7-headed mouse king in command. For a moment, the two armies stood their ground. Then the Mouse King squealed his attack, and everything was a whirlwind of motion. The battle that followed was legendary. There were losses on both sides, but the toy army was badly outnumbered and was soon overcome. The Nutcracker fought to the end, but even he could not subdue the rodent hordes. The Mouse King descended upon him. Marie, terrified for her magical toy, yanked off one of her shoes and threw it with all her might at the Mouse King. The slipper spun through the air for what seemed like hours, then hit the Mouse King with such force, all 7 of his crowns flew into the air, and poof! Just like that, it was over. The Mouse King was vanquished, and his troops scampered a retreat to every corner and hole. What a cheer arose in the ballroom that night. The Nutcracker reached his hand to Marie, and taking it, she found she was suddenly not even as tall as he was. The tables and chairs were like mountains and cliffs around them, and the dolls smiled down at her. The soldiers marched into 2 lines and made an arch of their swords, and the Nutcracker led her deep under the boughs of the Christmas tree. For several minutes, they walked as if through a forest. Eventually, they passed the tree's mighty trunk, and as they did, it began to snow. Soft flakes drifting and dancing around them. After some time, they heard the gentle lapping of water, and around a bend in the path, they came upon a small river running past. A swan-shaped boat glowed like a pearl on the water. The Nutcracker lifted Marie in, then climbed in next to her. They drifted past many lands on their journey that night, each more extraordinary than the last. Marie looked on it all with delight, but most of all, she looked at the figure beside her with his enormous head, wooden sword, and wide-eyed grin. To others, he may have looked comical, but to Marie, he was only her dear, wondrous friend. Long into their journey down the river, their boat came to rest on a shimmering shore. There they were greeted by a winged host, the Sugar Plum Fairy. She welcomed them warmly to her kingdom and led them to her palace. Inside, a wondrous hall with soaring gilded ceilings and polished stone floors stretched out in front of them. 2 golden chairs were placed there, perfectly positioned to watch a grand dance performed in their honor. One group after another, the dancers performed. First, a Spanish matador and maid in ruffled sleeves arched a festive duet, followed by a trio of Arabian dancers in silk pantaloons and jewels, who mesmerized Marie with their curving and whirling. Next, 4 Chinese dancers stepped and leapt across the floor and back again, balancing stacks of teetering teacups and twirling and tossing their parasols to dizzying heights. Then, the Russian dancers swirled in, kicking and spinning so quickly they blurred before Marie's eyes. There was a pause in the dancing, and the spectators all craned to see who would be next to perform. Slowly, from behind a heavy tapestry curtain, Mother Ginger appeared with her enormous hair thick with icing and with skirts as wide as a carriage. She made her way across the floor and curtsied to Marie and the Nutcracker, who nodded their approval. Mother Ginger smiled and clapped her hands, and one by one, a line of gingerbread girls and boys tiptoed out from her skirts and pirouetted round the floor. Finally, the Sugar Plum Fairy took the floor. Flowers streamed into the hall and clustered around her in a perfect bouquet. All was quiet. Then the sound of a distant music box drifted in. The fairy began to dance. She floated in front of them, spinning shapes in the air, and the flowers wove patterns around her. The air around her shimmered with magic, and the Nutcracker took Marie's hand and held it tightly. In an evening filled with lovely things, this was the loveliest of all. Marie turned to the Nutcracker and whispered, "You are more dear to me than anything." The air continued to shimmer and sparkle, and Marie looked with wonder all around her, and then at her beloved Nutcracker, who shimmered so hard she blinked, then blinked faster and faster and faster. Blinking, Marie woke up to sun streaming through the tall windows of the ballroom, right into her eyes. She was still in her corner, behind the boughs of the tree. She'd slept there all night. Marie glanced up and was startled to see Godfather Drosselmeyer looking down at her with a laughing grin. He had just arrived and was in his hat and cloak. He winked at her, then stepped aside to reveal another person looking down upon her. Marie's breath caught. How could it be true? It was the young man from her dream, the one so like her Nutcracker. But he was real and smiling shyly at her. Godfather Drosselmeyer's eyes twinkled as he introduced the young man, his nephew from a distant land down a long and winding river. Marie hesitated for a moment, then laughing flew up and hugged the boy fiercely. She was so happy to see her dear friend come to life. In the years that followed, Marie and the young man became inseparable and grew up to meet all sorts of curious people. They explored kingdoms and forests and oceans and mountains. In fact, they had every adventure imaginable in that mysterious distant land down the long and winding river. But that's a story for another time.
The Mitten. It was a cold and windy winter morning. And the little boy hustled up the path, dragging his sled behind him. He was dressed for snowy adventures. From his knit cap, to his warm boots, to his 2 soft mittens, which hung from his sleeves on a piece of string, so he wouldn't lose them. The boy headed to his favorite spot, a stupendous hill perfect for sledding. He dashed through the trees, eager for his first long slide across the snow. But as he jumped over the stone wall at the top of the hill, one of his mittens caught on a low branch. The boy was going so fast he barely felt the small tug of the mitten before the string gave way. He was out of sight and down the hill before his mitten even hit the snow. All was quiet. Then, tiny, shivering mouse darted out from the stone wall, saw the cozy mitten, and crept right in. Soon, Bunny hopped along. The mitten caught his eye, and, being a curious fellow, he jumped in, right next to Mouse. Next, Fox wandered by. What a snug place this is, she thought when she discovered the mitten, and crawled inside. Mouse and Bunny moved over to make room. The wind blew through the treetops and swirled down the lane. Lynx padded out of the forest and saw the mitten. "What's this?" she thought. "How charming!" And she nuzzled the mitten open and squeezed herself in. All the animals cuddled together in a warm ball of fur. The wind was still for a moment. Then Wolf came loping up the hill. Up the other side trudged Bear. "You first," said Bear. "No, you," said Wolf. And they ended up jostling and cramming their way into the mitten together. Now, the mitten's knitting was strong and true, but even so, it was stretched to its limit. Poor Mouse was at the bottom of the pile. "I need more room," he thought, and found a nice soft spot right on Bunny's belly. He wiggled his whiskers happily, which tickled Bunny's tummy. Bunny started to giggle and twitch, and his ears tickled Fox's chin. Fox snickered and shifted her tail, which brushed against Lynx's paws. Lynx chuckled and rolled onto her back, her fluffy tufted ears making Wolf's muzzle twitch. Wolf howled with laughter. And all that wiggling and shifting and giggling made Bear laugh too. Well, it was too much for the mitten to take. With a giant pop, out tumbled Bear and Wolf and Lynx and Fox and Bunny. And off they ran back to their homes, laughing themselves silly the whole way. It was the time of year when the sun set early, so it wasn't long before the boy made his way back up the hill. He was just about to step over the stone wall when a flash of red in the snow caught his eye. "My mitten!" he said, and picked it up. It was bigger than he remembered. Puzzled, he turned it over in his hands. Deep inside the mitten, something was moving. Suddenly, a wee head with velvety ears and quivering whiskers peeked out over the cuff. It was Mouse. "Oh!" cried the boy. "Hello, little fellow. Have you found yourself a new home in my mitten?" Mouse groomed his whiskers contentedly and crawled back down into his cozy new nest. "I will take you home then," the boy said, "and you may live in my mitten as long as you'd like, and be my friend." The boy put on his mitten, cupped his hand gently around Mouse, and, dragging his sled behind him, headed to his own warm home across the snow.
Christmas train. All aboard! All aboard the Christmas train! Hold your ticket tight. We'll count our way from 1 to 20 all throughout the night. Wave bye to the reindeer. They can fly, you know. Get some cocoa. Grab a seat. All right now, Here we go!
One.
Jolly Santa, cheery nose and cheeks.
2.
Clever elves, making toys for weeks.
3.
Christmas trees, sparkling spruce and pine.
4.
Paper packages tied with festive twine.
5.
Tasty houses made of gingerbread.
6.
Poinsettias blooming vibrant red.
7.
Colored balls wrapped for girls and boys.
8.
Christmas bells ringing Yuletide joys.
9.
Sugar plums, sweet for children dreaming.
10.
Shining stars, silent watches gleaming.
11.
Bits of coal make a man of snow.
12.
Christmas candles flicker warm and glow.
13.
Candy canes striped with red and white.
14.
Carolers sing into the night.
15.
Stockings hanging by the blaze.
16.
Lights twinkling for days.
17.
Candies, chocolates, nuts, and sweets.
18.
Cookies, cakes, and frosted treats.
19.
Children, nice as nice can be.
20.
Ornaments filling up the tree.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hip hip hooray!
Arctic Christmas, a very cool pop-up book. Animals hurry beneath a full moon. In the frigid far north, they'll have visitors soon. Walrus bakes cookies, and Ermine wraps gifts for dear southern friends braving icebergs and drifts. Caribou covers his antlers with bows. Harp seal plants candy canes into the flows. Beluga and humpback resurface and blow, delivering sea stars from deep down below. Bald eagle dives downward, and snowy owl soars to place festive mistletoe over the doors. Fox lights the lanterns so skaters can see. Hares wearing snowshoes brew hot tundra tea. Then polar bear cheers. Penguins float into view. They're in time for the tree trimming party. Wahoo! And just when it seems that they can't hang the star, Narwhal is ready and flings from afar. All gather together to watch northern lights add shimmering holiday magic at night. The penguins head home to Antarctica seas as wishes from Arctic friends rise on the breeze and echo off icebergs, the words loud and clear.
Merry Christmas!
What a cool Merry Christmas! We'll see you next year.
Snowflakes, a pop-up book. Most snowflakes have 6 sides. Some have 12. Snowflakes and the Snowflake Man. The first person to photograph a snowflake in 1885 at the age of just 19 is also the person who first recognized that no 2 snowflakes are alike. Wilson A. Bentley, now known as the Snowflake Man, looked at snow crystals through his microscope and was amazed that each revealed a masterpiece of design. Through his photographs, he was able to share these masterpieces with the world. They look like lace. And fine-cut jewels falling. Snowflakes come in all sizes. Most of the snowflakes Bentley saw in his home state of Vermont were tiny, formed by combinations of snow crystals, each created by water vapor, condensing into droplets and freezing on a speck of dust in the atmosphere, and growing as more droplets condensed around it. The largest snowflake in recorded history fell in Montana in 1887, measuring 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick. They tickle your tongue.
and land on the snowman's nose. Watch their miracle before they melt. Snowflakes come in all shapes. The shape a snow crystal takes is dependent on the temperature at which it is formed. Some are shaped like columns, some like stars, and some like plates. Snowflakes are very hard for scientists to examine because they melt, and that unique design is then forever lost. The Snowflake Man was frustrated at his inability to complete drawings of beautiful snow crystals under his microscope before they melted. So he turned to photography. All snowflakes are beautiful. Snowflakes on film. Bentley published more than 5,000 photographs of snowflakes in his lifetime, each demonstrating the complexity, variety, and beauty of the infinite combinations of snow crystals. The Snowflake Man captured crystals on a black wooden tray as part of his unique process to best reveal the intricate details of each snowflake. Each one is unique, just like you. Snowflakes are all different. The Snowflake Man demonstrated that no two snowflakes are alike. But why is that true? The reason is that snowflakes are each formed by up to 200 snow crystals, each consisting of hundreds of billions of water molecules, randomly scattered throughout, and each shaped by the temperature and wind. That process yields an infinite number of shape possibilities, so no two will ever be identical. Before we sleep. As the season turned, the forest was dressed in new colors of rich amber, burned orange, and chestnut brown. Little Red the Fox was happy because now it would be much easier to hide. A fox would be hard to spy among the dried brown leaves, burgundy bushes, and coppery grasses. Only in the open meadow would Hazel the Dormouse be able to catch sight of Little Red. Little Red and Hazel spent hours and hours playing hide and seek together. The two friends loved jumping and rolling in the crisp, dried leaves. They loved the rustling sound. "The leaves are laughing with us," said Hazel joyfully. During these moments of happiness, the cold air hinted of the coming winter. Little Red felt a tinge of sadness. For Red, the smell of winter meant one thing: loneliness. Soon, Little Red's very best friend in the world would settle down in a warm burrow to hibernate. Hazel, perhaps this season you will sleep less, said Little Red hopefully, trying to sound cheerful.
Little Red, I am no fox. I am a dormouse. I'd like to stay awake and keep you company, but you know, in the end, I must always sleep.
So Little Red started to think of ways to keep Hazel from falling asleep. What if I could make the sun stay high? Then winter would not be so cold. What if I could ask the forest to hold its fruit? Then there would be food all winter long. What if I tickled Hazel to stay awake? Then we could play and play. The dormouse started to yawn. Hazel, I want us to stay together forever, pleaded the friend.
Little Red, I promise, when the winter gives way to spring, I will be here for you, and we will play again.
I know, Hazel. But before you sleep, may I tell you a story?
Why, yes. Oh, as long as it is short,
replied Hazel sleepily, with head nodding and eyes closing. So Little Red curled up on the forest floor, and Hazel nestled into the soft, warm tail to listen. But before a word of the story was spoken, the two friends had fallen fast asleep together.
Chelsea's Chinese New Year. Chapter 1. Getting Ready. Hi, I'm Chelsea. My family is getting ready for a big holiday. It's called Chinese New Year. Dad says it is China's most important holiday. Some people celebrate it in the United States too, like me. Whew, we sure are busy right now. We're cleaning last year's bad luck out of our house. Then we're going to buy new red clothes. Dad says red is for good luck. People in China have celebrated Chinese New Year for thousands of years. In that country, people call it Spring Festival. Lunar New Year is another name for the holiday. Chapter 2: A Late Night. We've worked hard to get ready. Now it's the night before Chinese New Year. Even kids get to stay up really late tonight. Last year, I fell asleep too early. This year, I want to stay awake for all the fun. The date for Chinese New Year changes every year. It's based on an old Chinese calendar. It always starts at a time of month when we cannot see the moon from Earth. The holiday always takes place in January or February. We're at my grandparents' house for this big night. There are uncles, aunts, and cousins everywhere. We talk and play games. All of this laughing helps me keep my eyes open. Family is the most important part of Chinese New Year. Some families also honor the gods and their ancestors. Ancestors are family members from long ago. Some people show honor by praying. Some people put out offerings of food. We have a big feast. There's fish and lots of other food. Then everybody makes dumplings. They're like little cooked pillows with yummy stuff inside. I can't wait to eat them at midnight. Some families make sure to leave some fish for leftovers. They believe they will then have extra food in the new year. Boom! Pop! Firecrackers snap. Fireworks light the sky. It's midnight! Chinese New Year is here, and I'm still awake. People tell different stories about how Chinese New Year started. One story tells of a monster named Nian. Nian showed up at New Year's time. But people learned how to scare Nian away. The monster was afraid of loud noises and the color red. Chapter 3: Still more fun. I finally fall asleep. In the morning, Mom and Dad give me a red envelope. Money falls out when I open it up. Chinese New Year really is a lucky time. Children often receive many red envelopes during Chinese New Year. The envelopes come from grown-up relatives, family friends, or neighbors. Chinese New Year doesn't stop after one day. We keep celebrating. We wear our new clothes. We take presents to friends and family. We try to be very good. This starts the year out right. Chinese New Year used to be 15 days long. Some people no longer celebrate that whole time, but many people still celebrate for several days. Chapter 4. Parade! Chinese New Year ends with a big parade. My favorite part is the dragon. Dad says dragons are lucky too. Many Chinese men moved to California in the mid-1800s. They brought the Chinese New Year celebration to California. In modern times, the city of San Francisco has a big Chinese New Year parade each year. The parade's dragon is over 200 feet, 60 meters long. I guess Chinese New Year is finally over. But I have enough luck to last until next year.
Popo's Lucky Chinese New Year.
People spend 15 days preparing, and then 15 days celebrating Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year is like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day all bundled together. Popo came all the way from China to celebrate with us in America. She says Chinese New Year is a time for new beginnings. Making sure we have a lucky New Year is serious business. Popo is here to help me.
Do not carry dirt out the front door, because that means a family member will leave.
Swish, swish. Popo says I need to sweep out the bad luck before the new year comes. I sweep the dirt toward the middle. I carry it out the back door. I also sweep out my crying baby brother. Popo says I'm naughty. So I sweep him back in and rub his big Buddha belly. Spray, spray. I make sure my window is super clean. Popo says the windows need to be spotless. Good fortune needs to flow in. I'll finish tomorrow. Popo says, you can't clean on New Year's Day. You'd wipe out good luck. Popo has a lot of funny rules about luck. I want to be lucky, but following her do's and don'ts is hard work.
Do open the windows and doors at midnight to allow the old year to live.
Drip, drop. Popo gets my bath ready. She reminds me to wash my hair. I'll wash it tomorrow. Popo says, your good luck will wash down the drain along with the soapy water. I want good luck. I wash my hair 3 times. Popo tells me to finish washing my baby brother's hair, but I only wash him 1 time. I also don't use as much shampoo for him. I'm older, so I need more luck.
Do not wash your hair on New Year's Day.
Sizzle, sizzle. Popo makes a whole chicken so that our family will stay together. She prepares a fish with the head and tail still on, so we'll have a good beginning and a good ending. It'll also help make our wishes come true. I cross my fingers. This adds extra American luck.
Do cook and eat lucky foods.
The last dish Popo makes is noodles. I want to break my noodles in half. Popo says noodles should be long and unbroken, like life. I eat 2 bowlfuls of my long noodles. I eat my baby brother's noodles too. I want to live forever.
Do hang red and gold banners and paper cuts to ensure a flow of good luck and to invite in good spirits.
Snip, snip. Red paper and gold ribbons surround me. I'm busy making and pasting Chinese paper cuts. Popo bought a special sign from Chinatown that says, Fu. It's the Chinese word for luck. She puts this on her door. She says, I'm going to hang this upside down. The Chinese words for upside down sound like arrive. So this means luck has arrived.
Do not sleep on New Year's Eve. Your parents will live longer lives.
Sip, sip. I drink green tea so I can stay awake past midnight. No sleeping for me. Popo says I have to welcome the new year. The sound of the word sleep in Chinese is like the word for trouble. We don't want any trouble in the new year. I watch Popo and Mama play mahjong with friends. Click, click. The little blocks move quickly. Even my baby brother stays up. It's finally here. It's Chinese New Year's Day. Gong hei fa choi. Happy Chinese New Year. I make a ruckus running around the house. Popo says the first person you meet today and the first words you hear are important to your fortune in the new year. I want to be the first person my baby brother sees today. I whisper in his ear, Fu, and he coos, Fu, back. Aww.
Do not greet people in their bedrooms. It's unlucky.
I bring him to the living room where Popo makes food offerings to our ancestors. On Chinese New Year's Day, Popo says I can't say any bad words or think bad things. I push bad thoughts out of my head, but it's really hard work, especially when my baby brother is around. I do not call him bad names, even when he pulls my hair. This is the hardest rule to follow.
Do not cut away your good thoughts. Do not use knives or scissors on this day.
I wear my new red cheongsam. My baby brother wears his new red changshan. Popo says these are traditional Chinese clothes. She says children should have new clothes and new shoes for the new year. She also says we should wear red. Red will keep bad luck away. It's the color of fire. Popo strings red ribbons in my braids. She puts a red Chinese hat on my baby brother. I wear his hat when Popo isn't looking.
Do wear red. It scares away bad spirits and monsters. Do not use the number 4. In Chinese language, the character for 4 sounds like the character for death.
I fill a small plate with 4 almond cookies. Popo adds 4 more. 4 is unlucky, but 8 is lucky. She counts everything. She adds or subtracts to avoid the number 4. My baby brother has 4 teeth. I draw an extra tooth for him and tape it to his mouth. Popo says evil spirits will make an exception for baby teeth. I tape it to his diaper just in case.
Do make loud noises. The firecrackers, dragon dances, and gongs scare away the evil spirits.
Pow, pow! I throw tiny firecrackering snaps on our front doorstep to keep out the evil spirits. Pow, pow! At the parade in Chinatown, I help the dragons chase away evil spirits. I throw the loud snaps at their feet. Popo says only big girls can do this. My baby brother has to wait until he's older. I throw extra snaps for him.
Do keep the leaves and stems on fruits and give those to married people. It means they will have a long marriage.
多谢, 多谢. Thank you. Popo and I hand out oranges to family and friends. We're giving them happiness and wealth. I eat a couple because I want to be happy and rich. I eat more because I want to be super happy and super rich. Popo tells me to give oranges to Mama and Papa. I use my brand new red marker to write them a card. Popo almost has a heart attack. No red ink. I thought red was lucky. Popo says, writing in red ink means you want that person to go away. I think about writing a card to my baby brother in red ink. He spilled his lunch all over my cheongsam. I take it back. No bad thoughts. Cha-ching! My favorite part of Chinese New Year is getting the lychee. These are lucky red envelopes. Popo says Mama and Papa have to give lychee to little children, unmarried family members, and their own parents. Lychee have crisp, brand new dollar bills inside. I'm glad I'm not a grown-up because I don't have to give away any lychee. From all my relatives, I have a mountain of red envelopes. Popo says I have to put them under my pillow so I won't have bad dreams.
Do give children to lychee because Popo says happiness comes in pairs.
Finally, the house is quiet. A lucky new year is hard work. I put 2 red envelopes next to my baby brother's head. I whisper to him, "You're lucky to have me."
Caleb's Hanukkah. Chapter 1. The Hanukkah Story. Hi, I'm Caleb. See this dreidel I'm spinning? We play a game with it for Hanukkah. That's a Jewish holiday. It starts tonight, so I'm practicing. This year, I really want to win. Hanukkah lasts for 8 nights. It usually takes place during December. The timing is based on the Jewish calendar. I keep spinning while Dad tells me the Hanukkah story. It happened over 2,000 years ago. A Greek king named Antiochus IV made it against the law to practice the Jewish religion. He took over the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Hanukkah began in the city of Jerusalem. It is in the country now called Israel. In modern times, Jewish people all over the world celebrate Hanukkah. Some Jewish people fought back. Their army was much smaller than the king's. But they beat the king's big army. They took back their temple. They were free to practice their religion. The Jewish people were not supposed to study their religion, but they got together to do it anyway. Sometimes the king's soldiers saw them studying in groups. Stories say the Jewish people then pretended they were just playing dreidel. Dreidels helped them keep their secret. Chapter 2. A miracle happened. Dad says the Jewish people cleaned the temple so they could use it again. They lit the temple's special oil lamp. But there was only enough oil to light the lamp for 1 day. Then a miracle happened. The oil lasted for 8 whole days. That's why we celebrate 8 days of Hanukkah.
I'll take care of that.
After the Jewish people cleaned the temple, they dedicated it to God. The word Hanukkah means dedication.
Thank you.
These marks on my dreidel are Hebrew letters. Dad says they stand for a great miracle happened there. I bet another great thing is going to happen tonight. I'm finally going to win the game. The letters on dreidels in Israel stand for a great miracle happened here.
Lucky for me.
Chapter 3. Lighting the Candles. Relatives come to celebrate with us. The sun sets. We say blessings to God. We use a helper candle to light the first candle. Each night of Hanukkah, we'll add another candle. Hanukkah is also called the Festival of Lights. People light the menorah each night. It holds a candle for each day of Hanukkah, plus the helper candle. Families often put their menorah in a window. They want everyone to see it. We sing together. Then the kids get Hanukkah gelt as presents. That's money. Some of the coins are chocolate. Some of the money is real. I'll share some of mine. I'll give it to people who need it more than I do. Many children receive gifts for Hanukkah.
You want some?
Some share what they are given with others.
Sure.
Sharing with those in need is part of the Jewish religion.
Have some of mine.
Then we eat the latkes. Those are potato pancakes. We always have them for Hanukkah.
They're so good.
Mom fries them in hot oil. The oil reminds us of the miracle.
Dear, could you pass the latkes?
Sure.
People in Israel usually eat jelly donuts instead of latkes.
I'll have some.
Donuts are fried in oil too.
Thank you. Nicely done, honey.
Chapter 4. Dreidel Time. Finally, it's dreidel time. We all take turns spinning. I win a big pile of chocolate coins. I'll share those too.
That's right, Caleb. You should share with everyone.
People use coins, chocolate, and other items as game pieces in dreidel.
Come on.
Players take turns spinning.
Nice.
The Hebrew letter that lands up tells what happens next. A player might have to put a game piece in the middle.
Come on.
Or he or she might win everything from the middle. The one to get all the pieces is the winner. There are 7 more nights of Hanukkah. That's 7 more nights of dreidel to help us celebrate.
All right.
Yay, I won!
Nice job.
The very cold, freezing, no number day. Oh, you're numb. No one's counting. We've been forgotten. Left out in the cold. No birthdays? No growing? No clocks? Unless we warm up, time stops. Quick, help warm us up. Count every number on this page and see what happens next.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Look at that! The ice has melted, and we're a checkered mix of blue and green. We've stopped shivering, and new grass is growing. Keep counting. It's working.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Amazing! We're sunshine yellow, and all kinds of things are sprouting. If you trace us gently and count us aloud, we'll warm up even more. Give it a try.
9, 10, 11, 12.
You've done it! We're tiger-striped orange. This time, after you count us aloud, give us a gentle blow of warm air. Just to see if it helps.
13, 14, 15, 16.
Oh my! Here's an idea. Try all 3. Do you think you can count us out loud, trace us with your finger, and blow on us softly? Try it and see.
13, 14.
It's working! Keep going!
15, 16.
You did it! You did it! We're red hot! You saved us all from a very cold, freezing, no-numbered day. Hooray!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20!
If you don't have Vooks, what are you waiting for? It's a kid-safe, ad-free library full of storybooks that are brought to life. Ask your grown-up and start exploring more fun stories like these. Seriously, you have to check it out.
Thanks for watching. For more stories, try the Vooks app for free today.